Have you ever caught yourself hanging out with your friends, and when you look up, everyone has their eyes glued to their phones? Maybe you brought it up, and everyone realizes it, but they don't seem to see any problems. Face to face communication is becoming less and less the norm, and a shift into computer mediated communication is the new normal. My name is Vincent Coleman, and I'll be talking about relational development using computer mediated communication and the challenges it brings to people who must use it to maintain relationships. There's a study on the development of peer friendships using computer-mediated communication, covering how the study relates to relational development, as well as how I've applied these findings to my own friendships. Before we get started, let's go over the main points from this article. The article is called Smartphones and Mediated Relationships and the Changing Face of Relational Communication. It studies how phones are altering the way we conduct our interpersonal communication. This relates to Chapter 10 regarding relational development. Specifically, the development we have for our interpersonal relationships through our phones. It flowers from the idea that the more we are exposed to a certain thing, the more we are going to like it. Let's jump right in and talk about the research findings. Research question number 1 was, to what extent have mobile devices altered the way college students conduct interpersonal communication with their friends? Research question number 2 was, what is the amount of time college students spend on their mobile devices doing various activities in a given day? Research question number 3 was, in what ways do mobile devices help and interfere with developing close relationships? Research question number 4 was, in what ways is a mobile device better than face-to-face communication with a romantic partner? They studied it using a 31-question questionnaire that was constructed using interval, categorical, and nominal questions about the use of mobile devices as part of a larger study of mobile device usage in relational and educational contexts. In research question number 1, they found that the fact that mobile device communication is easier, more efficient, faster, and allows the use of multimedia account for the majority of ways mobile devices have altered the ways college students engage with their friends. For research question number 2, they found that all of the students stated they use at least a third of their entire day looking at their phones. Such responses in this category indicated that for some individuals, mobile forms of technology were used heavily, enabling them to be in continuous yet mediated contact with others for information-seeking tasks. In research question number 3, they learned that more than 1 in 4 students believe keeping in touch and having immediate feedback helps them develop close relationships. Students like the ease and speed of mobile devices and feel that the lack of face-to-face talk promotes greater personal comfort, honesty, lack of awkwardness, all while using mobile apps to share their more personal side. For research question number 4, they found that correspondents reported that mobile devices allowed them to be less nervous, more confident with a romantic partner, and that allowed them to communicate more quickly and easily. Lastly, I'm going to talk about my friendship with my childhood friend, Blake, and how I used my phone to keep in touch helped further develop our relationship. Alright, so a little bit of backstory. So we grew up together in a venture for more than 15 years. I've seen our communication style transition from a direct, intimate communication to a more informative style relationship with less self-disclosure. We both value our time more than we value our phones, and the challenge here is staying in contact with each other, even though we are both extremely busy in our day-to-day lives. To combat the risk of losing touch, we would use our phones to collaborate on places we wanted to travel to and plan the things we could go do when we were in town. Using our phones allowed us to get around 2 major challenges. The first is continuing to develop our lifelong friendship over the phone, but avoiding having to talk small talk or other non-important things. And we were also able to keep our favorite type of communication being in person or face-to-face communication, all while still being able to plan and do these extremely fun activities that require no phones and full focus. Let's quickly recap and wrap up. The dynamic changing of relational development of peer friendships using computer-mediated communication, and how I've applied the findings from the study into my own friendships. Some of my best friendships come from not being on our phones, so it is important to remember we are not always lucky enough to see our friends every day, but we can continue developing our relationship by utilizing our phones. Thank you.